for you, the interest in Linux and like how to build systems that turned into a profession after high school because you became a sysadmin.
Exactly. So I was running Linux and I was very happy with it and like experimenting and having fun actually. Um, and right out of high school, I learned like sysadmin. Like my cousin was a sysadmin, so I knew they were a thing. So right after finishing high school, I joined a company, like very small company, and started doing like some sysadmin work. And then I really got to work with this cousin I was talking about. He has his own, like still to this day, he's like a consultant, and he taught me like pretty much everything that like the basics, all the things that I know. Of course, things have changed in 25 years or 20 years, but he taught me like the basics, and those are still the basics that apply today. Like, of course, there are many more abstraction layers nowadays, but if you go like the basics and you need to tail a log or to see something, that's pretty much the same commands that he taught me like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I remember when I started to learn Linux myself a while back, and then you learn the key things, and that gets you around. And I'm not saying that there isn't so much more that you can learn, and depending on what you do, you should learn. But in terms of the basics, I have to say that it's not a lot that you need to learn at first to get around on a basic level. And I remember like when I got involved in the OpenStack community, and you try to do the functional tests and deploy the thing, and try to understand like the basics, the Linux basics were really handy. And like even just looking into things like, oh, the CI system failed, like the tests that are ran on the community infrastructure, testing infrastructure, they failed, and then you have access to the logs. And every now and then I was able to figure out what went wrong. And if it was like the test system, sometimes it was like a package was like got a new version. It was a dependency, and then the new version wasn't compatible with the other things. And then at least I was able to tell people who had access to the CI system that, hey, I think this is the problem. It's not something that I have the permissions to fix, but they always really appreciated when someone went and looked into what the problem might be, as opposed to just, hey, the CI is broken
Oh,
again.
exactly.
It makes a huge difference, and it's not just about, like reputation, but it just gets resolved faster because they don't have to start from square one. I'm not saying that I was always completely right, but when you have ideas, at least they can, start from a step or two further ahead, which already saves time.
And that's one of the other things that you will learn while learning like the basics and the commands and everything. You also, when interacting with people, you learn this kind of like small but very important things. Like you do your research, you do your homework first before asking for help. Like you go and ask help once you have already exhausted your own, like, okay, this is all the steps that I can do, or these are all the things I know how to do, and I got to this point. Now I need help with this, like going further. But and that's something that you also learn like while like working in a community or talking or working with some other people. Like they teach you that, like, this is the way to do stuff.